Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of the PanPastel demo. So in the first part was when I did a live public stream on this part of the rose, and we did a little giveaway and everything, and that's something that we'll be doing every single month. But in this one I am just going to continue on from there and see how far we can get in the next hour and a half. So I'm going to keep going with the background, or let me just give an overview of what we did first. So I did a very rough sketch of the outline of the rose, and then I started applying a couple of layers of the PanPastels within the rose. And the only pencils that I used were to just demonstrate the water droplets on the rose, just quickly in the first part. But, excuse me, that is something that you don't have to do until the very end. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the background. So ideally when you are doing a drawing, you want to do the background first and then do the foreground. But I wanted to just demonstrate the rose straight up, so that's why I started with the rose. But you'll see I didn't do the edge petals, mainly because I want to get the background first before I do those petals there. So I'm going to jump straight into it. I have a round soft applicator sponge. It's got a bit of green on it, which is fine because I actually want to use green right now. But before I do that, actually I might just use my pine green number 267, and I'm just going to sketch out the leaves that I can see in the reference. Let me try and make that a bit smaller for now. If you want to download the reference so that you have a better view of it, then you can just check the description and you should be able to find it there. So this leaf's actually a lot bigger. So this is something I wanted to demonstrate in the first one, but I couldn't find the putty eraser. So if you make a mistake with your pencil on your sanded paper, you can just use a putty eraser. Let me just get that out. And like if I wanted to get rid of that center line over there, you just dab it and you can lift that straight off. So there's a lot of room for error and for you to play around if you need to, which is what's so great about this paper. So while I'm doing this demo, I won't be looking at the chat. So Maureen is moderating for me, so if you have any questions, Maureen will be happy to answer them for you. That's just relevant to those that are live right now with me, not to anyone watching the video afterwards. And then if you have any PanPastel questions, then feel free to ask me on the Facebook page. And Maureen, if there's something that you need to bring to my attention, please message me on Facebook, because I won't be looking at the chat. Rightio. So I'm just going to continue on with the just a rough sketch, and this doesn't have to be exact, like we just want an idea. So I don't like that line there, so I'm going to remove it and just do it again. My apologies if you can hear my washing machine going away in the background. These smooth, blurry sort of backgrounds are ideal for pan pastels because it's so easy to just apply that really soft look. And then that's fine, that's enough. Now I think I want to block in the darker areas first. So I'm going to use some of the raw umber extra dark, and that's alright, I'll use this soft applicator. If you wanted to clean this off, all you need to do is take a paper towel and just wipe it on the paper towel a few times, and then it should be clean enough for you to dip into another color. So I want to apply this. Now the application will be light like this, and it will stay like that until we seal it in with a fixative. So there's got to be quite a few layers to get it as dark and pigmented as what we'd like. Okay, so that the first layer is very dull, very boring, but that's okay. That's all we need for now. Now I would like to add some of those purplish tones that I can see. So I'm going to use the magenta extra dark. I'm happy to use the same soft applicator sponge. Just excuse me for 1 second. Okay, now let's go with the chrome oxide green extra dark. Okay, now the permanent green shade. See, I'm not too focused on detail or anything. I just want to sort of block in a foundation color. Use some of the raw umber extra dark again. Okay, now I'm going to use some red iron oxide, extra dark. Some of the red iron oxide. Clean your soft applicator sponge like this, just on a paper towel. The permanent green shade again. Okay, great. So now that we have that down, we can seal that in with a fixative, and then we can build up on it more so that the color can become stronger. just grab the fixative. I'm using my Mikador workable matte fixative, which is clear permanent protection for pastel charcoal chalking pencil work. I like this one a lot. I'm just going to cover my PanPastels. There we go. You can already start seeing how much this influences the look of the rose. It looks really pretty. So it's going to be nice once we really develop it and make it look super soft and subtle, and then we can continue to work on the details of the rose. So just give that a few seconds to dry. So I'm pretty happy because in the first stream we did, this part only took us an hour and a half, which is really quick, because if you had to do that just with colored pencils, it would take a lot longer. So the PanPastels really saves you a lot of time. It almost looks like a painting, like because you can't see pencil strokes in that, and the color is so thick and just so beautiful. It looks like a painting. You would never know that it's PanPastels. And the fact that we managed to get it so bright and pigmented just with the PanPastels is great too, because I feel like pastel pencils tend to look a bit dull once it's done. It sort of has a real matte kind of look, which this does. It still has a matte look, but not so much so that it almost appears like there's a haze over it in a sense. So it doesn't look like that. It looks matte, but it still looks very bright, and it has a lot of value. So I really like that about the PanPastels. Although I'm sure, like, I don't have all that much experience in pastel pencils, not like I do with colored pencils, so I guess I can't really say that for sure. But the little bit that I have had to work with it, I feel like you just can't get the vibrancy that you can with colored pencils. But I'm very impressed with how the PanPastels give you that vibrancy. Okay, let's carry on. And now, because this is sealed in, so this doesn't rub off at all. So it's sealed in, and whenever you create a layer with your PanPastels that you want to leave as it is, then that is the best way to do it. So you want to seal it in, you don't want it to move around anymore, then you're going to use a fixative before you layer more on top. And this is also going to help us bring these colors back out. So I think I'll probably just repeat the first step all over again so that I can bring all these colors out more vibrantly, and then afterwards we can assess and see what we need to do next. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the dark raw umber extra dark and just do it all again. I think I want to mix this up with a little bit of the Payne's Grey. Yes. This is when things start getting so relaxing. You sort of just go with the flow, especially if you're repeating a previous step. Then you're not thinking so much about what to do because you've already done it. You're just repeating it. You're just enjoying the whole feel and meditative process of it all. mixing two colors like this, there's no particular way to do it. So I'm sort of just dabbing it in both, really, not for in any particular order. Now I want to use some of the magenta extra dark. And I'm going to use the chrome oxide green extra dark. So this is still going to look pretty dark, but that's okay, because it'll look really great when we lighten it up with our pencils. Okay, great. Sorry about that. I just got a phone call, so let's keep going. I think I'm going to use some of the chrome oxide green shade. So we really want to get the entire surface of the paper covered properly. We don't want anything coming through. some of the Payne's Grey. Some of the red iron oxide and the white, titanium white. Okay, so now is a good time to seal it all again because we don't want anything else to move around. And then I think I'm going to call it a day for today's workshop. So again, using the Mikador fixative. Just cover everything. That should seal it in quite nicely. And then we can continue working on it. We can probably start working on it section by section and try and add some extra little details and more color. And yeah, but that's pretty much the hardest part done in the background. It's just a matter of trying to cover your paper as much as you can. Here I didn't cover it as well as I could have, but that's okay. We can fix that with our colored pencils. But we'll keep working with the PanPastels and pencils, excuse me, and then carry on until we're happy with the background. So it's just a process that you have to take, a process of layering and a process of blending and a process of just sealing in with your fixative so that you can sort of build up those nice dark colors. Now, and look at the intensity of the colors just in 2 layers. So it's made a big difference already. So now you just have to persevere and stick it through until the end, and then you'll end up being quite happy with the result. So thank you guys for tuning in to part 2 of the PanPastel demo. I should be able to do part 3 shortly, but just keep an eye out. Put the notification bell on in YouTube, or if you want to know when this is going to happen, just sign up to my mailing list, and you guys will be able to see the live demos. So stay tuned, and thank you guys for watching. Bye.